And really, when you start boning out things, you're going to leave a lot more meat on there than you should, but that's all right. Eventually, you're going to learn where all those little nubs are, and you'll leave more meat on the thing. Now, normally there wouldn't be this much meat on this side because you just cut it wrong. I'm taking it off. You see that yellow? That's like a rubber band. That goes all the way down to about here. And what that is, it's like a rubber band or a bungee cord. When a sheep goes down, that has to bring its head back up. That's all, and all animals have it. But the thing about it, you don't want to cook it because it never gets tender. It gets worse. You can chew and chew, and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you never want to leave that on any meat you cook. Get it off of there because it will make people think it's not a very good piece of meat. Okay, we've got that off of there. Now what we've got is this blade bone. We've taken this off, so we essentially have to deal with this knuckle and that blade bone. And the thing that makes it hard is you got this parallel part that sticks out. On the underneath side, which is this side, you can just put your knife in and open it up. But on the other side, you got to deal with this right there, and it's difficult for most people. Put your knife in there. Actually, and I cut clear down to that knuckle. Cut around. Okay. Okay. Most people in the slaughterhouse will cut around the knuckle and take the knuckle out, and then they take the blade out. The other thing I would advise all of you to do is learn how to use this thing. What does this do?
Straightens the blade.
Yeah, all it does is keeps it sharp. If it's dull, it won't make it sharp. You can actually feel the knife getting dull, and the blade of a knife looks like that, little points, and when they get bent over too far, this won't help. So you want to do it often enough that you keep them straight. Because if you don't, you didn't do it any good. You got to stop and sharpen it. And the other thing I can advise you, know where your finger is in relationship to the blade. Okay, there. I never throw that away. I sell that as a broth bone. They're worth $1 a pound, and we sell about $1,500 a year worth of little things. For 10 years, I throw them away. Okay, now what we got is this. We got this right now. And what I'm trying to do is get this part of it. Okay. Go up and hit that. The guys that do this in the slaughter pen takes about a minute and a half to roll that thing out. They get very good at it. Now there's a bone shoulder. It's like that. It's kind of open. You roll it up like that. And there you go. Makes a great shoulder. It's a very nice piece of meat, like that. Okay, I don't need this. And if you want, you can come back and save that, save that. Screw that up. Again, and when you're learning this, if you leave a lot of meat, just go back and trim it off like I'm doing. And you're not going to get it all, and eventually if you do enough of them, you're going to get very good at it. And but ground lamb, amazingly, is very high in demand. And the butcher shops are selling it for about $9 a pound. I sell it for about $7. The reason I can do that is that for my lambs, I help cut them up. And there's no middlemen involved, and I still make money. My purpose in having lamb is, yeah, I want to make a profit because I want to stay in business, but I also want people to try it. So I don't jack it up so damn high that they won't buy it. Okay. Play. Okay. Trim it up. Get rid of things that aren't any good. This lower part of this is called a trotter. That's where there's no meat. And they just cut them off at the slaughter plant. Okay. And just trim up. Questions in along the way?
In regards to other meats, like beef and pork, how lean to fat is lamb usually? Is it like?
Oh, actually, lamb is fat on the outside. It doesn't have marbling, so it's pretty lean. Now, people ask, is fat good for you or not? Does fat make you fat? Absolutely
really.
not. Actually, the research they're doing it on right now, 2 pieces of bread are more fattening than a half a pound of meat with fat on it, to be quite honest with you, because of the way your body handles it. So, actually, if we would believe the research that's being done today, meat's a lot more healthy than 2 pieces of bread. Okay? Bread is carbohydrates, and when it deposits the fat after you eat it, it's all right here. Right here. And when, on that. Okay, 2 things here. I'm going to take the tailbone off, which is this right here, because it's basically a piece of meat, or a piece of fat and bone. Did, I don't know if we can tell, all we did is cut through this piece of, the tailbone is right here. Okay, and all we did is cut through this little piece of bone right there to get it off. Now, what do you do with this piece? You throw it away or you sell it? I sell it. Dogs love it. We sell about 20, 30 pounds of this a week, and we get $1 a pound for it. So it's worth messing. I'm going to throw it away here now. Okay, here's a leg of lamb. We took off the front shank. This is what you call a full leg of lamb with a shank on. A lot of people, restaurants use it like this. Most people retail don't want the shank on. it's too big to deal with. So you can just take it off, and you see there's a little dimple right here. And in that dimple, if you find it, it's always not as prominent. There we go. This is where the joint is. You see the joint? You see the joint right here? There's a piece of and that's the hind shank. It's normally bigger. People like them big. Very much in demand. It's a great restaurant trade. Some people, I don't do it because actually when you cook this down, this meat pulls away from the bone. Yeah, it shows it here on the chart where you actually French it, which is nothing more than taking the bottom part off. I don't do that because the cooking does it itself.